The Hustleshare podcast is brought to you by PDAX. PDAX is a homegrown cryptocurrency exchange that offers the best rates among local cryptocurrency exchanges. Download the PDAX app now on the Google Play Store, App Store, or Huawei App Gallery. Start trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies for as low as 50 pesos by signing up on podlink.co/hustlesharepdax. Also powered by Podmachine, the simplest way to grow and edit your podcast. Sign up now at podmachine.com and use the code Hustleshare to get one free edit. Welcome to the Hustleshare Soonicorn Sessions. The show where we discuss the journeys of Southeast Asia's most successful startups that are soon going to be the region's next unicorns. Now here's your host, Ronster Baetiong.
Welcome to the very first episode of the Hustleshare Soonicorn Sessions. My God, we've been doing this for a while now. If you're listening to this episode, this podcast is officially 3 years old. And in the 3 years that we've been talking to amazing startup founders, predominantly from the Philippines, this ecosystem has completely grown exponentially. And now, as we speak, last year, 2021, there were 3 companies in the Philippines who unprecedentedly raised at least Series B and above, namely Kumu, Grocery, and the guy that's never gonna guess here, the OG Soonicorns, Mr. Steve C of Great Deals. But also, I just want to flex, as we're recording this in late February, just within the first 2 months of February 2022, already 3 companies have also raised Series B and above. And again, it won't make sense if we just know about their grind before and they didn't tell us how they actually made it. So that's why we made this new format of Hustleshare. It's called Soonicorn Session. And of course, we need to talk to the king of e-commerce in the Philippines, Mr. Steve C of Great Deals.
Hi, Ron.
The king.
Hello to all the viewers and
Again,
and to
thanks
all
so
the
much.
subscribers.
Yes.
Really happy to see your Hustleshare growing. I've been listening to a lot of your talks with the different founders.
Thank you. And again, that's just me. My ambag to the ecosystem is to document all these amazing stories. But this is another level that not everybody can get to. We're trying to catch up and again follow the path that you've paid. But you're one of the original 3-headed Soonicorn of 2021. Now, Steve, typically what I always go through and ask is, what's your hustle? But for those people who are just listening now, I've had Steve literally February 2020, right before the lockdowns happened, in his office, and we even ate mang inasal after. It was amazing, but it's been a while since I last did that. But just recap this from last time we caught up. I think you literally just raised Series A by then. What was it like from the last time we caught up to now Series B? And again, just back then you said that it was a sunrise industry. Is it still a sunrise industry now? Walk us through what happened from the last time we caught up.
Well, happy to share to you, Ron. Well, alam ko naman there's always a silver lining sa pandemic. And I think Great Deals was part of that silver lining. We grew exponentially, especially on 2020. I would not say that it's easy. I think it was doubly hard because we were, even though we had just been funded, ng Series A nung time na yun. And I was never, I thought, okay, I don't need money anymore. I have so much money during that time. But in just, less than a year, we need to raise again because the company grew so fast. We grew more than 400% the year 2020. And
wow.
Working on the condition of lockdowns, pandemic, new normal was really challenging for the team. But I really give kudos to our team to be able to overcome all of these challenges ng pandemic, for us to be able to give great numbers and grow our ecosystem during that time. And sabi nga nila, ay maswerte ka kasi pandemic, e-commerce. But if you will look at it, not all e-commerce companies were thriving during that time.
Yes.
So it always depends sa people that are executing. And I think I give special honor to the people of Great Deals for really making it happen.
Yeah, but that wasn't for sure. That wasn't an accident, Steve. Because I remember you telling me before when in our first interview here that a lot of what you did was really prepare the ecosystem. You even hired teachers to teach the skills needed to make the right stuff. And again, just an amazing hustle. And if you gotta listen to that, you just go back Feb 2020, the hustle behind Great Deals. But again, I want to talk about these milestones because this is not an accident that you were in the right position when the pandemic hit, lockdowns happened. Walk us through these certain milestones that happened because again, luck is always favors the ones that are always hustling. So it's not an accident that you thrived when others didn't. What were the key milestones that you guys hit in 2020 and 2021 that really allowed you to raise the Series B that you got?
Well, first important thing was during the pandemic, there was a lot of fear. People are fearful of their health. People, don't want to get out of their homes, diba? Because there's a lot of fear.
Yes.
And during that time, I would happy to say that we were the only enabler that never closed shop, not even a single day.
Wow.
And one thing that, we rallied upon was sabi ko sa team, we are a frontliner. If we will not open and fulfill all of these orders online, people need to go out for their essential goods. So we need to be there for our kababayan. And then I think that was our battle cry. Na whatever it takes, we're part of the frontliners. Parang tayo yung mga nurses rin and doctors.
Yes, absolutely.
No? And, I think isa sa mga key things that we did, basically, we had a war room. Tinawag kong war room because we're at war. We're at war during that time against the pandemic, against COVID. And we have constant communication to all of our people. No? Because it was the first time. We never built a company that is work from home all the way, diba?
Exactly.
That's not even heard of. So there's a major shift in culture, in ways of working, on how to be able to, overcome this pandemic times. And I think because of the war room, because of the constant communication on what to do, what are the things, what's happening with the company, we were able to overcome this. And ang blessing na rin na may Series A kami, I was able to tell all of my people na wala akong tatanggalin ni isa sa kanila. So I think because we have enough buffer, diba? We got funded February.
Correct.
So March yung so we still have enough funds
runway
to whatever happens to be able to protect our revenues and then also go on the offensive to grow yung e-commerce space.
Yeah, and when the offensive happened, just I remember again, everybody just relied on e-commerce predominantly to survive. Nobody wanted to go out. You guys kept us afloat. But you said you went on the offensive. Can you just share a little bit more? Whatever you can share, that's not confidential. How aggressive the growth was in terms of ratio and whatnot. Because again, 2019, we were talking about aggressive growth, but 2020, 2021, leading up to Series B, how intense was it? And again, if you had a war room, pretty sure you had to change even the way you operate as well. But how different was it?
One major thing that happened was GrabMart. Grab didn't have any GrabMart. We were the first merchants at GrabMart. We opened it in 10 days.
What?
During the peak of the pandemic.
Wow.
So
now you add another one. Okay.
Yeah, so those were the things that innovation or the opportunity that we have seen that we have to do this. And Grab was also said, dahil wala nang Grab na car.
Yeah.
So many riders that they need to. So we need to push with this. So para na fast forward we've talked about it with them, but then it got fast forward because of the pandemic.
That's crazy. But what
And
about the
it
supply side, Steve? Because I remember back then, one of the biggest milestones you had to take was helping brands really go into e-commerce. But those
mm,
were the first movers, eh. All of a sudden, you have to onboard everybody else that were not first movers because they were forced to now do this or else they're gonna die. How did you accommodate that supply?
so by God's grace, we were able to increase our capabilities to almost 3x. Our
Wow.
warehouse space, yun lang nga, maraming nakaw dahil and everything. No, being transparent. Pag you're growing too fast, there's so many loopholes or there's so many holes that you need to fill the gap, diba?
Mm-mm.
But we've already, improved on our operations and processes to fill those gaps. And of
Yeah.
course, yun, I think that those were key things that needs to happen talaga for
Mm.
us to improve on our processes. No.
Yeah.
So
Now,
of course, yun din yung of brands were very supportive. Alam mo
mm,
naman, typically the mindset was we were having it takes us 2 months to onboard because sobrang haba ng pila.
yes.
Yung time na yun, no? And
Wow.
it's very hard to hire new people on a work from home. And how do you train them? Diba? Yun yung mga things
Exactly.
that's been happening during those pandemic times. No?
Mm.
But hopefully, we've increased that's why we raised our Series B because we know yung accelerated growth ng e-commerce just happened and we need more funds to
Correct.
be able to sustain and grow the business. No? And it's been growing. Yun yung
Mm.
maganda. No?
That's
I think we
amazing.
have the right formula, business model to really scale up our business.
Got it. Now let's talk about the hard stuff. We always talk about this in Hustleshare, right? In
Mm.
So this is all fine and dandy. You already talk about the knockout. You already talk about those things, but as a you can't go to Series A and not have systems, and you can't even scale to Series B if you don't have systems that work. And you said you had the formula that works. Can you just share a little bit? What are those things that you invested in or you tweaked that you invested on heavily to allow you to scale that fast? Because of course, nobody was ever prepared for the pandemic. Probably the first few months, everybody was just scrambling. And then you find a eureka moment like, all right, this works, right? What were those things that really helped you propel faster?
So number one, it's we get the key is ito yung this is my motto kumbaga, people, process, then tech.
Wow.
So during the pandemic, we hired key people, key
What are these
leaders.
people?
Well, I hired my chief commercial officer, my CFO.
Ah,
Yan yung mga key people that onboarded on
adults
our
in the
team.
room.
Yeah.
Executives. There you go.
Executives talaga to help with the my VP, yung ko rin, lahat sila during the pandemic ko talaga na hire.
Wow.
No? Even my treasury director, operations director. So we level up because we have funding. So we were leveling up our team.
Mm-mm.
So when you have the right people, they're gonna create the right processes. And right
Yes.
now, we're implementing the tech already for us to have a good infrastructure.
Got it.
So yun yung foundation. It's people, process, and tech. So always build the right team because then you can make the right processes. If kung hindi tama yung team mo, whatever process it will not grow.
Yeah.
So I think talaga yun yung best advice that I could give to the different startup founders. No, get the right team and
Yeah.
share your vision of what you want to do, to have for your companies that they'll get on board and
Yes.
grow with you.
All right. Now let's last question before we take our break. I'll just double down on hiring the right team because let's just put things into perspective. A lot of the people that listen to this are probably just under 10, 20 people. You're lucky if you're at 30. It's easy
Mm.
to hire because when you hire at at that stage, a lot of the people that you look for are just people that can get the job done. You don't have multiple layers of one downs on one downs and one downs. At
Mm-mm.
Series A, especially at Series B, you probably have 3 to 4 layers of one downs before they even get to you. I want to find out, how do you get the right people at that level? Because a lot of founders are like, DIY, I'll just do it myself. Let's just go, 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 go. at this level, you're already company building. How do you find the right people at that stage where they're not founding people, but they're the right fit at that right stage?
Okay, let me share to you a great story that personally, I think this was one of my breakthrough
Okay.
sa start as a company. No?
Mm.
Hiring my first 6-digit employee.
Wow.
Yung 100,000 pesos and above na
Yes.
sweldo.
Yes.
That is unheard. Di ba? Parang ang hirap
The
mo
Chinoy in you will never agree to that.
You know, I think ito yung talagang one major hurdle.
Okay.
Kasi the first time that I hired a 6-digit employee,
Okay.
yung pinakamataas sa sweldo ko during that time sa company ko was around 30K lang. So it's triple the amount if I'm gonna hire him.
Okay.
So hindi ko pa nga nilagay siya sa hindi ko nga pinakita sa sweldo. For 1 year nakatago yung sweldo niya kasi nga ayaw ko mag ano yung core members ko, di ba? But ito yung I just like so I was contemplating and I asked my mentor, sabi ko, do I hire this kind of talent?
Yeah.
Sa totoo lang, it was yung in-offer ko sa kanya was technically, he has a better offer than my offer.
Yeah.
So, he just have faith na great deals will do great things and we're happy with it. Ang tinuro sa akin, which I always remember, sabi niya, Steve, di ba, pag bumili ka ng kotse, 1 million yan, tama? Para makapag-drive ka, ganyan-ganyan, magamit mo sa negosyo mo.
Yep.
You look at that person that you're investing as an investment. So kung 100,000 yan, that's around 1.3 million. Ang question, yung in-invest mong 1.3 million sa kanya, ilang million babalik sa negosyo mo?
Got it.
And then, sabi ko, sige. But I was blessed because he was really good. So parang, okay. Alam mo yun? Kasi pag nagkamali ka naman ng high ng unang 100,000 mo, tapos walang effect.
Ouch.
Hindi ka na magtuloy, di ba?
Correct.
But that time, I was really blessed to find the right key executive in my company. And I think it paved the way for us to professionalize a lot of things. Because nasa corporate background siya, multinational company.
Wow.
So talagang, ako, di ba, entrepreneur tayo. Di ba, ganyan ang entrepreneur, no? Need to have a balance of corporate and the street hustle.
Exactly.
So we really did complement each other. Kasi ang pangit ko mag-email so kung totoo siya.
No, that's great. And man, that's so true.
And I think if you will get I think that's one of the major glass ceiling you need to break as an entrepreneur.
Exactly. Coming from everything do it yourself, that hustle, you need to start doing. And I kind of went through that too, because I always believe that the best people that back then, just not now, that the best people are homegrown, but everybody has a different learning curve, right? Some people will get there fast enough. Some people would have to go through hell and out just to be able to get there, to get them to that level. And especially if you're dealing with younger people, as you scale your company, as the demand happens and all these, you need adults in the room. And as a founder, you need to let go and find people that can help you build the castle and fortify that fortress, right? Because if not, you're also the one holding your company back as a founder. You need to literally go through that journey of becoming a founder to becoming an executive and a real CEO at that level. Right.
Siyempre, hindi pwede ikaw yung bottleneck ng kumpanya mo.
Yes. You have to evolve and let go of a lot of your one-downs. All right, now let's take our break and then we come back. Let's talk about, again, the difficult decisions and how you're able to overcome the challenges you have. And again, how you are now paying it forward as a Soonicorn founder to other founders. We'll talk about that more after the break. Hey Hustlers, 2021 just breezed past us, and I hope things are better for you during this pandemic, because we're almost there and I think we're pretty close to finally getting over this hump. But the bad news is the whole dynamic of how business is done has completely changed because of this pandemic, and you need to invest into new business models to make good investments. Now, for the past couple months, I've been on the lookout recently on what's the best way to buy Ethereum to start investing in this new thing called Axie Infinity, where I can play to earn. And I found the best platform to buy and sell Ethereum with the best prices in PDAX. PDAX is a homegrown cryptocurrency exchange licensed and regulated by the BSP that offers the best rates among local cryptocurrency exchanges. Through their user-friendly web exchange and mobile app, Filipinos from all walks of life can trade and purchase crypto anytime, anywhere. And they offer deep liquidity that allows traders of all skill levels to buy and sell crypto at the cheapest prices. So if you want to make your crypto work for you, download the PDAX mobile app on Google Play Store, App Store, or the Huawei App Gallery to start trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies for as low as just 50 pesos by signing up at podlink.co/Hustleshare PDAX or just by clicking the link in the description box of this episode. And we're back in the break. We are still with our Soonicorn Steve. Okay, that's what I will call everybody now. Soonicorn Steve, the very first one, the king of e-commerce in the Philippines. But I want to understand. It's not just all about, passing or hiring the right executives or the right people or the right generals per se, right? Steve, at the end of the day, you also have to evolve as a leader. Talk to us about how you then change your leadership style and the type of decisions you are now making as you go from, again, Series A to Series B. What was that like?
So I think number one is, alam mo naman, I'm a very hands-on person talaga. And I have to learn to let go and give the power and responsibility to the generals or to your executive.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's very hard, but those are the things that I need to learn to let go and let them make those decisions. But sometimes they always tell me, Steve, you're making decisions na naman.
Yeah.
So learning pa rin. I'm still learning on those ways. Siyempre, pag nasanay ka who to hire, who to fire, who to promote, no? But then you have to, right now, because we have an organization, it needs go through the process na. That's why we have process so that it doesn't get back down. So yun, I support them and they remind me. Yun yung importante. They remind me if I'm going over their leadership.
Correct. The chain of command per se, because again, you put them there for a reason. And if you're, and I can't help it. Me too. Sometimes I go all the way down to the bottom, to the front line. Like, hey, I'm here. But wait. I cannot do it because it also breaks the purpose, right? They lose confidence if every single time you will veto things or undermine them and whatnot. You really have to go through a lot of those things. But in terms of what are the things that you had to really go through that was roughest? Were there like really hard decisions you had to go through? Because it's easy, again, Series A, pre-seed, seed, you're probably let go of one person.
I think it's more of ganito. If you put bosses under the former boss, I think that's one of the challenges. For example, I've already the company has been evolving and growing. So I have technically my core leaders is dalawang beses na nagbago technically. Wow. Because sabi nga nila companies scale but people don't. Diba? Yes. People are, and you need a team. So we keep on changing. We need to keep on leveling up the team. So sometimes yung dating boss nagkakaroon ng bagong boss. And yes. I think yun yung mga challenges on how you would let them work together and yes. see a bigger picture. And don't get disrupted doon sa office politics.
Yes, because there's some seniority. Right.
No? So talagang I think those are the key things in managing people on how you could, di ba sabi nga nila, it's very hard to build a championship team. Bakit?
Yes.
Because there are so many egos.
Correct.
So same thing, same principle. Kung kasama mo si Kobe, Shaq, Parehas magaling. So parang ganun din. We're
Right.
building, a championship team and they need to be cohesive.
Mm-mm.
So sometimes it takes time
Mm-mm.
to build. Sabi ko nga, when you're forming a team, before there will be parang tinatawag nating storming.
Yeah,
When you're forming, then there's storming bago performing.
exactly.
So I think most of the teams that we have built here in Great Deals undergoes those three processes. From forming a new team to storming because of the different personalities and ways
Yeah.
of working,
Mm-mm.
then to becoming performing. So the faster you go through those cycle, the better for your organization to grow.
Yeah, got
Ang
it.
problema, pag naiwan sa storming, patay na.
Exactly. And then you really need to pluck that out. And you're right there, because it's like really forming a basketball team. Not everybody can be shooters. You have to like really have A players and surround them with the right role players that will actually do their role well. Not everybody gets to shoot 20 points a night, right? But if you find those, you put them in a position to succeed, and find people that they don't have to be alphas all the time, but they're great role players in support. And at the end of the day, one thing that's common and you need to do is to be able to win. And win you did. But Steve, I'll just dig in on a personal note. There's not a lot of founders who can probably empathize with you because there's so few of you. But at this level, Series B, what keeps you up at night? Because and Series A is like survival. Do we have money? Are we able to raise? What is it? What's the mentality of a Series B founder or a Soonicorn founder now, Steve?
How do I 10x my company from this day on forward?
Wow. How do you then push on? So are you 10x of already a Series B?
That's the mindset that you need to have. Even when you're whatever. Sa akin kasi I love challenges.
Yeah.
No, and I think we've been breaking a lot of glass ceiling. But the mindset is, how do I 10x my company? Because we have bigger ambitions for the Philippines, right? Not only for the Philippines, for our country, for our people, for our company. So, you need to have a bigger vision so that there's more people that can be part of it and grow it.
Yeah.
And yun yung challenge. Yun yung tinanong mo sa akin. Yun yung sinagot ko lang. Hindi ko pa alam ang sagot. Kaya nga, it keeps me awake at night. Keeps me thinking. Keeps me doing all of these things. But I think yun. Parang, hindi naman sa I don't want to, there's no, para sa akin, there's no such thing as retirement. I don't see myself, retiring.
Look at Django Kongwei. Still into his 90s. They were still working.
Andun tayo sa, kahit feeling millennial ako, pero feeling ko yung work ethics ko is parang pang araw-araw na kailangan na sa office ako eh.
Correct. Exactly. Now,
so I think yun yung challenge na, okay, as much as you don't want to put the unicorn status at the minsan naiinis nga ako sa sarili ko because you don't want to really think of those things because it's just a byproduct of the work. Tama. But then sometimes it comes into your mind rin, which being transparent, diba? But then you always look at, okay, how do we go from this point to the next point?
Wow, that's amazing. But last question on a personal thing before we talk about fundraising and investing in other startups. When things are moving fast, things break all the time. And it's easy to get distracted if you're not surrounded by the right people. But even if sometimes you are surrounded by the right people, as a founder, there are only certain battles that you can only take on as yourself, especially the battle within your head, which is making sure that you stay focused. Steve, how do you still stay focused at this stage of the game now, where the stakes are higher, there's so many things burning and happening and whatnot? And how do you still keep the eye on the price? If you're trying to 10x what you have now, but there's a lot of things that are trying to get you from doing that, how do you maintain that?
Well, first you need to realize there's a lot of temptation.
Yes.
So tukso lang yan, sabi ko.
Right.
Even for my people, di ba? Sometimes my people get, even, people think it's an opportunity, but for me, not all opportunities are opportunities. Some are temptations. And we need to know which are the temptations. Yun yung you need to discern ano yung tukso, ano yung makakatulong talaga sa kumpanya.
Got it. That's
And I'm not perfect. I'm not saying na I know this. Because I also, natutukso rin ako. May mga other things akong nagagawa, di ba?
Correct.
No. In terms of business, hindi in terms of love life.
Ala!
Hi, honey. No? But I think having a good board, having a good, sounding board, that will help you give good insights, will help you. That's why it's very important when you raise your series A, B, or C. Importante yung who's gonna be your partner. Yes. That's the important thing. Kasi you'll be working with them. So you need to learn to trust. No?
Correct.
Hindi ko pa nga nakukwento pala yung mga Series B learnings ko pala sa'yo,
okay.
right?
Now, let's talk about that. That's the nicest segue. So, let's talk about two things. It is very, because again, we talk in a series, seed pitch deck, let's just say. Your pitch deck is problem, solution, blah, blah, blah. Series A, it's a little bit more metrics with more narrative. What do you need to have at Series B in order to unlock that type of check? What are the things that you even pitch to an investor? Because at that time, you cannot fluff it out anymore. You cannot just narrative it out anymore. It's all about the numbers. And I have no idea how that looks like. How was that like for you?
We need to execute our plans. So when I raised my Series A, diba, I shared to them financial projections. Diba? So we accelerated it. So when I was raising my Series B, I was just telling this is our track record for the last 4 years.
Wow.
We back it up with our numbers. Kasi marami magaling storyteller, but bottom line, you need to have the numbers to back up your story.
Correct.
I think yun yung isang key.
Yeah. Because at that time, the numbers will be your narrative na. So again, a lot of people do this. They'll create projections. They'll probably miss it. And
Ang projections, sabi ko nga yan, projections, drawing lang yun lahat. No?
Right.
Kaya kung may maniwala sa iyo nung umpisa, well and good. But then if you cannot, the first time that I made financial projections was my angel investor.
Yeah.
Put in an Excel sheet and then showed it to him. But never in our wildest dream that we'll be able to hit it so early from the first financial projections that I showed to him. So yun yung I think that's why if you're gonna, for example, if we're gonna raise another series, it needs to see exponential growth na naman.
10x again, right? That
exponential growth at the same time. You have traction. At Series B kasi you have traction already. It's more of the growth and sustainability na.
Exactly.
People would like to see are you still burning money or you're already sustainable?
Correct. Profitable. All right. And now let's talk about the learnings. What is the Steve C. Soonicorn learnings for Series B that you wanted to share?
alam mo, this is, I think, lahat sa totoo lang, I don't want to discourage all of our founders, pero para sa akin, ang due diligence is very traumatic.
Super.
On any series.
Yes. Super. The data room pace.
So, and I think, I had a good perspective on my Series B because I got COVID, Ron.
Oh.
And I was in the middle of my due diligence, I got COVID.
Oh,
severe
nice.
COVID yun, no?
Holy shit.
So I was in my hospital. Really, I thought na tapos na yung buhay ko. I already gave an interim CEO just to make sure. So nagkaroon ako ng, sabihin na natin, better, parang enlightenment or, clear na what would happen if I don't go back. Siyempre, first I thought about my family,
Yeah.
then about great deals, my start. So I think that was a good perspective because you never look at succession planning, you never look at but then you have to assess in just a matter of few days because you
Oh
don't know.
man.
Hindi ako makahinga Ron.
Oh
Pag
my
tinatanggal
God.
yung high oxygen, wala sa, I have a very strong mindset, but walang mindset pag hindi ka makahinga.
Yeah, you're just panicking, right?
Yeah, so I think yun yung, and sabi ko nga, sobrang roller coaster ride. Because I got COVID in the middle of due diligence and after, so I was doing board meetings with an oxygen in my
Oh my God.
because we're in the middle of due diligence.
Yeah.
Kaya sinabi ko doon sa investor ko, wag mo na akong tawaran. Kawawa na nga ako.
Wow, that's just
But then
great.
after a month, in just a month, we were able to close it already. No. So I think, life is short. You never know. So, the best thing that you can do is always, bring impact or, be a blessing to other people in either in your organization or in your ecosystem. And I think yun yung important thing rin that we need to learn.
And that's again the perfect segue for our last part. Because one thing common about Soonicorn founders is that they don't just pay it forward with wisdom like what you're telling us. You're actually, all of you or most of you are writing Angel Soonicorn wing checks now. And that's a sign of a great ecosystem thriving because a great startup ecosystem is always founder led. Hopefully, I get to follow suit soon. But I'm not a series. I don't even have Series A yet. It's so hard. I'm already dying. I'm just at my pre-A. But at this point, Steve, you're trying to pay it forward. Life is short. You want to surround yourself, be a blessing to others. What do you look for in the startups that you? First of all, how many startups have you invested on now? And what do you look for in those startups that you invest in?
Aside from Radius, I have 5 other startups.
Wow. So what do you look for? What's the common denominator over those startups that you choose to participate in?
Number one, important sa akin is the founder. The people that will lead.
Okay.
That's the major. Business model can change, but it's very hard to change the right person. Right. So sa akin, it's very important yung founder itself.
What do you look for?
Grit, core competence. I think that's so. For example, can I share a little bit
absolutely.
How I partner with them? So,
okay.
Yung live streaming. Live streaming is one key trend, diba?
Neri.
Yes. So si Yasmin Neri Soyao.
Yasmin.
Diba? So when we were looking for someone to lead that business, I think we found Neri Soyao to be the best person because she can be the face of live stream in the Philippines.
Yeah, from O Shopping.
Yeah, she was an O Shopping host, so she has the background and the knowledge on how to do it.
Correct.
Well trained, even sa Korea, marketing head ng ABS-CBN. So sabi ko, this would be a very good fit.
Yeah.
In running. So sa akin, yun yung important thing. When we were forming Zagana, sabi ko kay Joshua Aragon, which, di ba, pushcart, which he just exited.
Congratulations, right?
Sabi ko, Joshua, I won't do this without you because I cannot run it. You have the core competence to run this thing.
Yeah.
And I think importante sa akin is this founder meant for this certain business? Kasi, syempre ako, for e-commerce na yung yung utak ko eh. And then there will be a lot of other founders that have those core competence on those key areas. So I think yun character skills nila kailangan nandoon for me to invest on them. So whatever happens in the business, if ever it fails, we can always change the business model. But I have to trust the person that I'm able to that is able to lead his team.
Now, in terms of a founder, and this is what I love about angels that are for our founders or former founders, you don't just bring in money. You add so much value because you have the perspective of an operator, of a founder. There's so much value add. It's smart money. What do you bring to the table? How do you divide time that you're not just the type of angel that just puts in money, but you actually add value to open doors, to a network? What's that like for you as an investor?
Ecosystem. Of course, that's why we invest on our ecosystem. Kasi at least yung company is not starting from zero. It's already starting from one because of the ecosystem that we have. That we have built for great deals, diba? So for example, Shoppertainment, we just introduced all the brands to them. So they're the largest live stream production agency na ngayon sa Pilipinas because that's part of our ecosystem. Zagana, my former operations manager, lipat kay Zagana for the fulfillment so that we'll be able to deliver fresh fruits and vegetables, meat and seafood in 30 minutes.
Wow.
So those are the same principles that you can follow so that the company can be sustainable and cash flow positive even on their first year.
Got it. And that's just the one special about you. It's rare that you see startup founders that really have that profitability, cash flow positive mindset. Because most of the time it's burn, growth, but they don't really hit the revenue side. And it's hard to chase that, right? It's hard to really grow and have revenue at the same time. But if you're able to find that out very early, I don't see a reason why you can't be following the same footsteps of what you've done. Because again, sales cure all, right? That's the most important metric of all the metrics. Are you able to generate money with the nicest margins?
Yes. Bottom line, yan pa rin, that's how people will evaluate you.
Correct.
It's not how good your tech is, but you have a very good tech, but wala ka namang negosyo, wala rin lang.
Exactly. That is amazing. Now, last thing, Steve, what are the things you wish you knew at this time? Or, because hindsight's always 2020. Again, 2 years ago, we were talking about you shared a ton of great experiences. But what are the things, knowing what you know now, you wish you knew that you would love to advise yourself or other people, especially now that you're in Series B? Next time, maybe it's Soonicorn Sessions na, Steve. On your third guesting with me, it's Soonicorn Sessions already.
That was a very good. Alam mo, I was thinking, Ron, yung question mo, what should I have known? I think sobrang daming learnings kasi. I think you'd have to keep on. Personally, it's a good reminder for me na it's not a straight line going up.
Yeah.
I think yun yung importante. We need to adjust so that, kasi ang life is not ganyan lang eh.
Yeah.
No? Pag tingin ng tao sa labas, it's ganyan.
Right.
Diba? Pero tinignan mo yung grades, parang ganyan lang eh. But sa totoo lang, maraming ganyan yan. And you need to endure those hard times for you to, go to the peak. You have to ride on the valleys before you be able to go to the peak. And it's okay. Sinasabi ko nga sa founders, it's okay. You have to undergo. If I have not undergo those hardship, yung biglang kailangan ko ng 10 million or 20 million, kung hindi, puputok ang cheque ko. Parang, paano ma-develop yung adversity quotient mo? Paano mo hanapin yung... Pero yung ganyan problema, ano yan?
Exactly.
Totoo yan. Yung parang biglang kailangan mo ng pera kasi wala ka ng pera, di ba?
Exactly.
So, and it's not just 1 to 2 million na dahil palaki na palaki numbers. No? So I think learning all those things help you prepare better for the future things to come. So if I haven't undergone those challenges sa startup ko, we won't become a better company.
Yes.
Kung hindi ako nanakawan ng sobrang laki ng mga inventory ko, we will not create processes that will help us have good inventory health.
Yeah.
So sa akin, it's part of the process and there's gonna be a roller coaster ride.
Correct.
Ayun na. And hopefully, you persevere, you grind it out so that there will be light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. And again, the beauty about our ecosystem now is we have people like you who have experienced this, that because you're not the last one. For sure, there's hundreds and probably even thousands more of Filipino founders or again, Southeast Asian founders.
Alam mo, yun talaga yung gusto natin. we want to help digitalize the Philippines.
Correct.
If you ask me why I'm, putting a little bit money over here or over there, because I could see potential in people. But I could see they have a good heart to expand our ecosystem. Isipin mo, all of the 6 Series B mostly are all investors outside of the Philippines. So we're bringing, the startup ecosystem has been bringing in great investment.
Exactly.
Exciting times nga para sa ecosystem natin.
And it's just February.
I always remember,
Imagine.
tayo na year 2018 sa 2022, parang night and day ang investment.
Correct. It's not even close. It's good, but at the end of the day, we need to sustain this growth. And at the end of the day, again, metrics matter. But we're lucky that we have guys like you who are now experiencing new heights. Because before, Series A is unheard of. Now, Series B, Series C, even Kumu's already a Series C. And then just soon enough, all of you guys will be unicorns as you are now Soonicorns. Again, Steve, thank you very much for going back as a Soonicorn on the Hustleshare Soonicorn.
Thank you, Ron, for the opportunity to be able to be a guest again in your podcast.
Yes, of course.
Really a pleasure.
Talking of e-commerce. But if they want to reach out, and if, say, for example, a startup wants to go to you and say, the King or Steve, what if I have a startup? What do they do in order to, again, pitch you and whatnot? Or is there a certain vertical that or is it within the e-commerce ecosystem that you do? Where if someone wants to reach out to you, where do they go and how do they do that?
You can follow me on LinkedIn, message me on LinkedIn. No? But basically, I don't really invest on just an idea. Kailangan a little bit traction talaga. Kasi, ideas is a diamond and that's it. Execution is king. So if you have execution already, better for me na even on your previous work.
Yeah.
Not on the new idea, but on your previous work, you have proven a little something na hindi lang idea. I think much better sa akin. I'm just giving my criteria for but you can follow me LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok.
Wow, you have TikTok now.
Alam mo, Ron, binago ko yung content ko sa TikTok, tinanggal ko na lahat ng SEO ko. Kaya nagkaroon na ako ng followers.
Wow. Man, I'll look you up. I'll look you up. All right, Steve. I know this is not going to be the last one, but at least for the meantime, I'm happy for you to be a Soonicorn. But before I let you go, follow us on whatever podcast app you're listening to. This version of Soonicorn Sessions is not just available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and whatnot. The unique thing about this is it's also going to be on YouTube. So if you want to watch all these shenanigans that we did, it's going to be available on YouTube. And again, if we did say some jargon, it's going to be show notes on hustleshare.com. And lastly, if you want to be part of our community, it's going to be in the Hustleshare community on Facebook. Again, Steve, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron. It's a pleasure talaga.
All right. And I'll see you guys in the next Soonicorn Session.